What are some of your biggest challenges thus far, according to you in your career?
Um, well, I think one of the greatest challenges was in second year university. My family went through a severe financial crisis, and the American University of Sharjah is an exorbitant university. It is so exorbitant that I was studying with royalty, and I think you can judge from that how expensive it must have been. But my parents wanted to, especially my father, he wanted to give me the best education. So, I mean, I would be sitting in a classroom with the Prince of Qatar or with the Princess of Saudi, and we would be chatting around as if we're all the same. So there was that kind of a bond that was built with my classmates, with my friends. And that term Queen of the Jungle, I was given that title by my friends, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But when my father said that he cannot afford that university anymore, I had to drop out. And I remember the messages that I received from my friends, and they were like, oh my God, USP Ronak chali gayi.
Oh.
These were their words, and that tore my heart apart because I mean, at that point, I was only a 22-year-old, and I took the decision that, you know what, if I can't study from AUS, I'm still going to pursue my dream to become a journalist and complete my education. I will get that picture with a graduation cap, no matter what it takes. So I got admitted into Middlesex University, and I hated it. I despised it. Because I think when you're uprooted from somewhere forcibly, and even if you by your will are trying to do something, you hate it, but patiently and with gratitude, you still go on because it's a difficult bridge that you have to cross, but nevertheless, it's still a bridge, right?
Yep.
So one semester into Middlesex, my father again said, he's like, Hira, I simply cannot afford even this fee structure anymore.
Okay.
So I had to be pulled out. And overnight, as a 22-year-old, I'm like, okay, maybe in dirhams, I cannot complete my education. Maybe I will make it easier for my father, and I will travel to Pakistan. Okay. So we had family friends in Pakistan, and overnight, I mean, Lahore, I had just gone to Lahore for, I think, a month for a vacation, and that's a very sheltered vacation. Even though we're from Karachi, but Karachi ke halat aise hain ki aap soch hi nahi sakte ki aap kisi ladki ko aise bhej dein.
Right.
So anyway, overnight, I packed my bags, and I will never forget the scenario in my room. And I don't think till yet I have ever disclosed this, but while I was packing, before that, I had a panic and an anxiety attack.
Oh,
and
wow.
And I was alone in my room because I told my family that everyone leave me alone. Because when my father told me that you got to drop out of even Middlesex, I quietly went into my room. I shoved everything off my desk. I started ripping up my pages, and I lost it. Because as a 22-year-old who is already under so much of turmoil, who was pulled out of her comfort zone, and who's seeing her friends carry on with their lives when she has to struggle so much, it's difficult.
It's hard.
It is. And, spirituality is a journey. Right now, when I see my friends or my acquaintances blessed with things that I don't have, I go like, but at that point, as a 22-year-old, I didn't really think that way all that. I guess it was all that patience that Allah probably saw, and my mom was working behind the scenes. She's like my fairy godmother always. So I don't know what strings she pulled, how she applied for more of a higher scholarship, but one fine day I received an email from AUS saying that you are readmitted with this much scholarship. And I was screaming. I was like, what's going on? I was so angry. I'm like, is this a joke? I'm like, I was furious. I lost my mind. I was like, what is going on? What is going on? And like, then I realized that, okay, that 1 year, everything that I've learned, that is going to stick with me for the rest of my life. And I was again allowed to go back to AUS. You know what, Nitasha? This was just my struggle education-wise. My actual struggle in the media field, when you're starting off new, I was very blessed that I had a mentor like Zaki. And he mashallah, he's like a really phenomenal individual within the media industry, but it's up north in Peshawar and in Islamabad. But he is doing incredible work there. So he was my mentor, and I was so lucky. When you are a 19-year-old girl, there are a lot of men who try to make a pass at you who are 50, 60.
Yeah.
Zaki was one of those कि मैं अपना show करके बाहर निकलती थी तो मेरे सर पे हाथ रख के कहते थे well done बच्चे. He treated me like a little kid. If he would be taking a smoke in his office और अगर मैं जल्दी आ जाती थी, he used to, you know, just बुझा देते थे कि बच्ची आई है, so I don't want. Yeah, so I was very privileged. I was very lucky, but I did have my fair share. So I had a lot of colleagues with me, a lot of co-hosts, और बहुत सारी लड़कियां आई, बहुत सारी लड़कियां गईं. बात ये कि लड़कियों को, औरत को ये बात समझनी चाहिए कि अगर आप मीडिया की फील्ड में आ रही हैं, if you want to make your mark, वो ना एक्सपोजिंग कपड़े पहनने से होगा, वो ना जो है क्यूट बनने से होगा, or acting like a total bimbo or giggling your way. Nothing. I'm not saying that, you know, don't wear revealing clothes, whatever. That's your choice, man. You do you. But what I'm saying is that you don't have to present yourself as a commodity to make an impact to the audience. So a lot of girls came, a lot of girls went. I had a couple of girls just
is lost. Sorry? A lot of the times the messaging will get lost in that if you try and make yourself into a commodity.
Absolutely. So I have had these girls actually destroy my designer clothes that were there for a show. Yeah, so I've had these jealous things happen to me, but I would never let it get to me. I had boys, men literally, who were 10, 15 years older than me, who are now actors. मैं कहती हूँ कि ये लोग actors बन के कि fan following कितनी ज़्यादा है, they don't know what these men are really like on the inside. I mean, they would try to bully me as co-host on my show because I would get a lot of calls from fans saying that we love how Hira conducts the show. But Allah ki TV is that, you know, when somebody is trying to destroy you, Allah aapko izzat deta hai, Allah aapko protect karta hai. So I've even been body shamed on live television. So there is a lot that I had to deal with.
But let's talk about mental health in society. It's such a taboo to talk about. What do you think? Do you think it's getting better? Do you think it's getting easier to talk about? Do you think at some point our culture will be more accepting of mental health issues, you know?
Okay, number one, I think that we are progressing with regards to the narratives, but we still need to be very much educated, very much about how we are portraying our message. Also, to anybody who is watching this, who feels like they are struggling with their mental health, please seek a mental health professional. Because आपका जो दिमाग है वो आपकी बॉडी का ही हिस्सा होता है. It is not separate. अगर आपके जिस्म में कोई तकलीफ होती है, अगर आपको अपने जिस्म में कोई बीमारी महसूस हो रही होती है, तो आप डॉक्टर के पास तो जाते हैं ना. Then why is your head, your mind separate from your body? It's really not. Another thing is that a lot of people confuse the fact that if you are struggling with your mental health, you are not a spiritual person. 2020 was devastating for a lot of us. There were many losses. I lost the most precious thing to me, and that was my Nana. May Allah grant him Jannah. So I was so regular in my tahajjud. I would read the Quran. I would do everything. Nafla, jo bhi aap kahe. Sure. But I was so depressed because of the loss that I endured. And because of the isolation and because of all the deaths and all the atrocities that we were listening to, it affected all of us. So I think ये मैं एक example दे सकती हूँ that if somebody like me or somebody like anyone else, अगर आप तहज्जुद भी perform कर रहे हैं, अगर आप पांचों वक्त नमाज भी पढ़ रहे हैं, अगर आप कुरान भी पढ़ रहे हैं, वो भी तफसीर के साथ, this is Hira Hyder saying, been there, done that, but you are still struggling with your mental health. It is okay. It does not make you any less of a Muslim. Why? क्योंकि अगर हमारे जनाब रसूल खुदा सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम कह सकते हैं that the year in which Bibi Khadija and Hazrat Abu Talib, when they died, if he can call that year the year of grief, then why are you punishing yourself for experiencing certain emotions in such a strong way that it's leading to your mental health deteriorating? So अपनी spirituality को और अपनी mental health को अलग रखें.
I ask this to everybody that's on the show. It's called Shaam Ki Chai, so I obviously want to learn about the Shaam Ki Chai tradition at your home. So please tell me about what you ate, what it was like, what did you talk about, and what kind of chai you drank.
Okay, so chai se zyada I'm a coffee person. मगर हमारे घर में definitely like different kinds of teas का वो है, like एक तो कड़क चाय, Karak chai, Kashmiri chai ज़्यादातर in the months of Muharram, Safar, after Majalis, Imam Bargaon में जो होती है बहुत मजे की वो होती है. फिर in Ramadan जो है हम लोगों की different kinds of teas के brews निकलते हैं for healthy digestion. So that would be like green tea, ajwain ka pani, that kind of thing. मगर शाम की चाय जो खास अम्मा की होती है और वो शाम की नहीं होती, वो थोड़ी सी रात की होती है. Because after the entire day जब हमारी पूरी फैमिली सारे काम करके थक के हम लोग जब एक साथ अपने फैमिली लाउंज में बैठते हैं and we put on our favorite dramas, आजकल कौन से जितने भी अच्छे चल रहे हैं उन सबको फॉलो अप करते हैं. कभी कभी वो watch an old 70s अमिताभ की मूवी और राजेश खन्ना की मूवी and just discuss it over Amma's chai and Amma's biscuits. So that is basically what it is, you know. शाम की चाय का हमारे घर का रिवाज बहुत पुराना है, बहुत ज़्यादा. So yeah.
That's amazing. That sounds incredible. And thank you so much for sharing that and everything else that you shared with us today. It was so great to have you on.
Thank you so much for having me. This was such a wonderful interview.
We will, inshallah, talk to you later. And guys, I will, inshallah, see you next time on another episode of Shaam Ki Chai. Thanks for watching. Bye.